Raised on a farm in the backwoods of Maine, the young Ingalls demonstrated a sincere fondness for education. At age 16, he earned a teacher's certificate and taught school for 6 years while he attended Bowdoin College. He then went on to Harvard Law School, where he graduated with distinction in 1863. Ingalls initially practiced law in Maine, but in 1864 relocated to Boston, where he became involved in public life, and by 1867 was elected to the Massachusetts legislature and served as president of the Senate. However, in 1870, Ingalls returned to his law practice, where he was very successful, specializing in corporate and transportation law. In 1871, the owners of a small Midwestern railroad, the Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Lafayette, reneged on their bonds. The Boston capitalists who held those bonds became worried and sent Ingalls to Cincinnati to investigate and, if necessary, to reorganize their finances. Upon arrival in Cincinnati, Melville soon proved to be more than just a lawyer. He walked every mile of the company's track and spent whatever time it took to understand the business. Eventually, he reorganized the company. Board members were so impressed with Ingalls' results, they asked him to become the president, a position he held until his death in 1914. In 1889, the company consolidated with the Cleveland, Cincinnati, Chicago, and St. Louis Railroad Company, popularly known as the Big Four. Under Ingalls' management, the Big Four was reorganized and through recapitalization grew rapidly. It had begun with 179 miles of track, but by 1890, it had 2,300 miles of railway, 10,000 employees, and an annual expenditure of $10 million. Ingalls' talent as a railroad director enabled him to serve as president of the Kentucky Central Railroad Company from 1881 to 1883, and in 1888, he became president of the C&O Railroad as well. He had great plans for the C&O line. He developed new coal fields and transported the product by rail throughout the entire nation. He restored the Virginia mountain spring areas with their hot, warm, and healing springs into resorts. And it was also during Ingalls' tenure that branch lines were built, freight traffic increased, and a passenger rail line was created that used the most modern equipment of the time. Melville Ingalls resigned from the C&O in 1899 when it was merged with the Pennsylvania Railroad. However, the poor rundown railroad that he had taken over in 1888 had increased its gross earnings by 1,200% and compared favorably with the greatest rail lines in the country. Melville Ingalls was always outspoken and possessed a genuine interest in politics his entire life. And those interests were again transferred into action in 1903 when he ran for mayor on a reform ticket against Boss Cox's candidate, Julius Fleischmann. Ingalls tried to defeat the machine, but failed. Ingalls always demonstrated a great interest in Cincinnati's public and civic affairs. He was one of the founders of the Cincinnati Art Museum and served as its president. In 1880, he served as president of the Cincinnati Exposition, and in 1893, he delivered the address at the dedication of City Hall. Other accomplishments included the building of the C&O Railroad Bridge that connected Cincinnati and Covington, and the construction of the first reinforced concrete skyscraper in the world. Known as the Ingalls Building, it housed both the ticket office of the Big Four and Ingalls Bank, the Merchants National Bank. Ingalls felt Cincinnati didn't have desirable hotel accommodations and therefore built the Sinton Hotel, a hotel of stunning Second Empire design. Ingalls also served as founding member of the Cincinnati Country Club, as well as a charter member of the Queen City Club. Under Ingalls' tenure as chairman of the Music Hall Association, he directed the 1895 remodeling project. And in 1884, under Ingalls' leadership, the Grand Central Passenger Station was opened. For all of his vision and leadership abilities as a businessman, Melville E. Ingalls stands as a shining reminder of a truly unique individual who dramatically improved the quality of life of all those around him in his business, his industry, and his community.